Back to Natives Restoration is a nonprofit public charity that was founded in order to perform habitat restoration and environmental education in California. We were founded in 2005 but incorporated as a nonprofit in 2007, so this is actually our 10th year anniversary. We perform habitat restoration in partnership with numerous land managers, including the state of California, the county, as well as the Cleveland National Forest, so the federal government, and the city of Santa Ana, where we're at right now is the Back to Natives Nursery at Santiago Park in Santa Ana in partnership with the city of Santa Ana. So in exchange for performing habitat restoration in Santiago Creek and providing community service opportunities as well as community educational programs, we have this nursery here. We built it ourselves in 2011, so everything you see here was built by volunteers. And now we can produce approximately 40,000 units, that's 40,000 plants, at a time if we have enough volunteers to come out and help transplant them at the end. We recently received a donation of land in Dana Point, where we'll be using that 2.5 acres as our own seed bank or seed farm. So we're currently restoring it, but there are remnants of coastal sage scrub and riparian woodland on site. We also have Isocoma menziesii, which is coast golden bush that's present still on site, California sagebrush, Artemisia californica, sand aster, including salt grass, which is Distichylus spicata. So there's numerous others, plus we have thousands of wildflowers coming up there now. We just need help removing some of the non-natives so that we can see more of the native plants that are there. Part of the 40,000 units that we're growing here are 2 different species of milkweeds. So monarchs, as we all know, are in need of our help greatly. And in Southern California, it's different than the rest of the United States. The rest of the United States, they're asking everyone to please plant milkweed, plant milkweed, plant milkweed. And in the rest of the United States, people go to the store and they find the locally native milkweed, which is Asclepias tuberosa. The Asclepias tuberosa, which is butterfly weed, is native to the East Coast. Here it acts as a tropical milkweed. And what happens is that it's growing outside of the season that monarchs should be reproducing. We have numerous populations of monarchs that fly through here, but monarchs migrate because they cannot stand cold temperatures, as in they die at temperatures below 48 degrees, and they can go completely torpid at anything below 58 degrees. And if the plant is growing outside of its season, during the day it might get up to 90 or 100 degrees, as we experience in January and February all the time. But at night it gets below 40, which means that the eggs that they laid on that non-native plant are now dead. So since we have numerous populations that fly through and 2 populations that stay here, it is affecting thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of butterflies that otherwise would not have started to reproduce until the native plants start coming up. In southern coastal California, we only have 3 species of milkweed that are native. There's Asclepias californica, which is California milkweed, Asclepias eriocarpa, which is Tongva milkweed, and Asclepias fascicularis, that's narrowleaf milkweed. We grow 2 of them, the Tongva milkweed and the narrowleaf milkweed. All 3 species go dormant to the ground at the end of November, and then don't usually start regrowing until the end of February or the end of March. So it's really important that we don't have non-native tropical milkweed in this area because of that. For one, the loss of population through them breeding and laying eggs and having the eggs die immediately. But then there's a secondary reason. In Southern California, we also have Asclepias curacifica, which is blood milkweed, which is from Mexico. It's been that and Asclepias tuberosa, the butterfly weed, are being used extensively through commercial nurseries and propagated and given to each other because they stay green throughout the year. Both of these act as tropical, both of these are highly invasive, and both of them carry OE, which is the abbreviation for the protozoan parasite, which is decimating the population of monarchs and queens throughout North America and into Mexico. So it's very important that we remove non-native milkweeds and plant natives. And that's part of what we're doing at Cuestacado, which is the Dana Point location I was telling you about, the Back to Natives Restoration Native Plant Reserve at Cuestacado, right off of Stonehill and Del Obispo. While we're out there removing non-native invasives, we see monarchs flying by all the time. There is numerous different botanical records showing that all 3 species of milkweed were found within a half mile of the location that we're restoring. And so we want to establish a very large stand of all 3. And no matter what people think about the name, milkweed, it is a weedy species because it does have strong root tap and it can break up compacted soil. That's the scientific definition of a weedy species. But the dictionary definition is an unwanted plant. And I think by now that we've shown that milkweeds are very much wanted, and it's very important to be using the native milkweeds of the area that you're in. Otherwise, if you're using plants outside of the area where they naturally grow, then the animals don't know what to do with them, or they're not doing the same thing, or they can outcompete and crowd out the locally native species of plants. And animals such as arthropods, butterflies, require specific families of plants, specific genus of plants in this case, and in some local locations like the El Segundo blue, the specific species of plant, which is the cliff buckwheat, Eriogonum parviflorum, and then also the Palo Verde blue butterfly that requires a subspecies of plant. So it's very important that we only use locally native species of plants, and we really need help in transplanting milkweeds we have growing by the thousands here in order to be able to plant them this coming fall at Cuesta Cado in Dana Point. It's a treacherous slope a little bit. It's a bit on the steep side, but it is possible to get up there. We're up there every week right now removing non-native mustard, and then the rest of the summer we'll be removing a non-native ice plant that can grow 10 feet a week, spreading and covering the area. So with that, we're actually partnered with the Monarch Joint Venture Program this time to perform citizen science, and with our numerous volunteers collecting data on that and establishing the actual stand of milkweed. So we have people that are collecting information about what butterflies they see on location, how many they see them, how long they stay there, are they foraging on site, or are they flying by or patrolling, are there any populations that are breeding on site. And so we need to make sure that we have established large stands of the milkweed.